Hello everyone, this is Asnointia here. Welcome to Asnointia Audio. This is part 2 on letting go and moving on. I'll be building on the issues covered in part 1, helping you to find ways to leave the past behind. I'll be starting with the topic, signs to look for. Once we are in a relationship, whether this be a marriage or a partnership living together, we get used to each other's company, each other's habits, and we try to adjust, try to make the other person happy. However, things change. In people's lives, there are so many things that happen. There are internal and external factors that can make or break a connection. Some of these factors are beyond our control. These are the circumstances that are around us, the things that we just cannot change. But these are also things that we have to live with. We have to adjust accordingly. That is, if you want the relationship to remain, and if you want it to be successful. Pay attention to chronic unhappiness. Why have things changed for you? Why is there unhappiness now in your heart? Why are these things constantly on your mind? Why are you unable to let go? If you analyze and dig deep down, you'll notice that things were different before. The chase, the running, the fun, the wooing, and eventually you both settling down together. Now, sometimes we are not with the person for a long period of time. We could have been with them for a short period, and it became very intense, very fast, so suddenly, people tell me. The intensity of this sort of connection, it runs deep, very deep, so much so that it feels as if this person's been with the other for years. And it truly could have been just a few days or even weeks, but the impression one made on the other is intense. It is a lot. It is unforgettable. And the thought of moving on and moving beyond this person, it feels as if you are leaving a piece of you behind, a piece that is a part of your heart, a part of your past, some of your dreams. You have to ask yourself, why are you unhappy? Why now? Why not before? Why not long ago? What has changed? Is it you? Is it this person? And if something has changed, is it possible to rearrange that and to change it back? Sometimes it's not. It's practically irreversible when expectations are not being met. In the beginning, there were expectations, and your person of interest, they ticked all those boxes. However, things have changed. And now, what you once thought was important, you are starting to let that go. And you're thinking, even if I was to hold on to this little bit, maybe it would still give me what it is that I want, that fulfillment that I need in this connection. Holding on and walking on eggshells, that is not a healthy relationship. People change, expectations change, and the circumstances that we are in, they also mold us into what we become. It could be, for some of you, that your person of interest has had a very dark and difficult past. Depending on your situation, it could be from their childhood, maybe even in the recent past. Whatever it is, something has caused them to change that balance that was there once before. Something happened in their life. Either they have told you this, or maybe they didn't, and it was a trigger. Something has triggered them. Many of the actions that we take are a reflection of the past that we have had, unless we have gone through therapy for many years. We have changed our way of thinking. Your person of interest, or maybe even you, if there is chronic unhappiness, if there is a pattern and trend that you have noticed, you should know at this point, either one is in hot water or it's slowly starting to boil. Internal factors that create chronic unhappiness usually include, what I have seen over the years in my readings, a lack of substance on the inside. That part of us which creates us as a whole, where we have the mind, body, spirit, and the soul, where the spiritual, emotional, and physical aspects are all in alignment. Sometimes they no longer are. One may be a little off. But because of this, either your person of interest may act or react in a certain way because there's a lack of balance, and either you may. And because of this, it is very difficult to create that balance. What I'm seeing right now is oil and water. One is weighed down by heavy burdens, by responsibilities, by worries, and the other may not even worry at all. They just absorb things and they evaporate into the air, meaning that things don't really mean a lot for them. But for you, you are that oil, and everything is very dense, very thick, and when you do something, you mean it. The problem right now is that some of you, whoever is listening, you may have the issue of moving on. Because of internal circumstances, you need to find that problem that is holding you back. One of the best options is talk therapy. Just talking, letting it all out, releasing that energy from you and bringing it out, putting it into the world. The universe is large enough to accept your burdens and your problems. By talking and releasing this, what is inside, can help because those that you speak with, they may have that wisdom. Someone may just have the answer to your problems. But you don't know, you will not know, unless you go out and you talk to someone. Internal starts from within. Internal is the history that you have. Internal is the history that they have. So yes, there could be problems that are causing the both of you to have this distance, and it all stems from the past. The past we cannot change, but we can learn from it. We can learn lessons, we can learn from mistakes, and we can always consider that an experience. Let me give you an example. An individual who has found someone, they love each other, they move in. Shortly after, the honeymoon phase is over, and the partner at home makes a lot of mess. They leave things on the table, on the floor, they don't wash the dishes, they don't clean up, and they live in a mess. They think this is okay. They think this is normal. You come home from work and you're wondering, what the heck just happened? Why does it look like something exploded in this place? What is the reason behind why this person does it? Do they do it so that you have to do all the chores? Do they do it to hurt you? Do you think they do it on purpose? The majority of the time, no. The purpose of this is not to hurt you. Your person of interest has done this because that is what they know. That is how they either grew up or something happened in their life in the past that made them so disinterested in the home life, into keeping something clean. They just can't live like that. For example, your person of interest, they could have had a terrible childhood where they were always told to clean up, to be the perfect kid, to always have certain things in a certain spot. And so now, your person of interest retaliates, but they don't do it to hurt you. They do it because it's part of their nature now, inherently. They don't even know they're doing it. On the other hand, they may be doing it simply because they feel rejected. They feel unworthy of love. a lack of motivation and inspiration, feeling depressed, not feeling good enough. And when one feels like this, they feel like crap. And everything around them feels like it. It seems like it. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, the person will remain miserable. Not because of you, but because of certain things that have happened in their past. And all of the things that have happened in their past, it has turned them into what they are today. I have done many readings where people truly love the other person, and they are trying to fix, quote unquote, fix the other person, but you cannot fix another individual. All you can ever do is provide them with some resources, with some guidance, let them know that you're there for them and that you love them. However, they have to make the move themselves. They have to go and get the help that they need in order to move on. You may think that this person is like this only with you. The truth is, no matter where they go, no matter who they are with, if they do not heal on the inside, that sense of the spiritual, physical, and emotional pain that they have, if they do not heal, they will behave the exact same way with another individual if they get into a relationship with them. This person will not change unless they want to change. Sometimes it is very difficult changing because the environment around you is so negative. It's hard to pull oneself out of that. But this is where you come in. Yes, you could be that guiding light. And of course, this could be vice versa, the way I'm talking right now. Some of you may be the ones who need help because certain things may have happened to you, either in the recent past or from many years ago. Now, what's distressing is the fact that you may be very intimate. You may be sharing so many secrets, so many things in your lives, but the main thing, the thing that hurts this person the most, maybe even yourself, it is difficult to confess. It is difficult to express what is inside. What is that pain? What is that hurt? First, you may be fearing, or your person of interest may fear, that it could be used against them, against you. Second, it could be that one just doesn't want to feel vulnerable in this connection, and that causes a problem. In relationships, we have to be vulnerable. There has to be faith and there has to be trust. If you want to take it to the next level, all of these things on the inside, they need to be expressed so that one day, one of you can at the very least find a solution or find some sort of resolution for this issue of chronic unhappiness. Next, we have external factors. This includes people who may be jealous, people who are causing problems, traditions, rituals, customs, values, the differences between two people, families, businesses, restrictions at work, restrictions in an organization, in a religious sect, certain restrictions that keep us far apart from the other person, and there are consequences on a larger scale. This affects us, this affects our image or your person of interest's image. These are factors that are beyond our control. The only thing we can do here is try to adjust, or completely turn your back on the system. And that is most likely not a wise thing to do, depending on your background, religious background, ethnic background. It could lead one party or both parties into a lot of trouble, and depending on where you're from, it could be very dangerous for the both of you, or at least one of you. You may feel that you no longer are your genuine self, the true you, who you actually were, because all this time you have been adjusting, or your person of interest has been adjusting. The issue here is a lack of compromise. 50-50 is usually very good. 60-40 is acceptable. But 70-30, in my readings I have seen, is not good. 70-30 shows me that one person is bending over backwards just to accommodate the other. And that is not fair. In a relationship, there should be an equal give and take. Or at least, like I said, 60-40. You may start to realize that there's a lack of respect, a lot of dishonesty, and emotional neglect. I do have an example, something that one of my clients had written to me a while ago. I'd like to share this with you. He and I have been on and off ever since we had our son. We eventually split because of a third party, then reconnected later, which intensified my feelings and contributed to the breakdown of my already troubled marriage. However, he remains hot and cold, pulling me in, then pushing me away. He keeps going back to a toxic third party. I'd love a fresh start, but he's guarded. Emotionally unavailable behavior leaves me unsure about our future. He sometimes expresses deep love and attachment, yet I'm unclear about his true intentions or where things stand with the other person. Not only is this lady in love, she is desperately in love. And it's okay to be desperately in love. There's no harm in that. The problem is when we do not see things clearly. To me, I can clearly see that this man, he keeps going back to a toxic third party. The fact that it is labeled as toxic and the individual may be treating them in a way where they keep going back to someone who doesn't treat them right, but they like that. They've gotten used to it. It's a psychological thing. This is why oil and oil may mix, but oil and water cannot mix. Here, the female is the oil. She's heavy, she's thick, she knows what she wants. But the gentleman here, the man, he is water. He comes and goes as he pleases. He will evaporate, and then eventually, as the clouds are filled, and they become dark and they become gray, when this person's heart is saturated, when there's too much going on and when they need love, the type of love that you can give and only you can give, they will pour down as rain once again, soak into you as you are the earth, and then eventually evaporate again. It's a vicious cycle. While this person is the rain, the winds change direction. And even though you may have thought that they are pouring onto you, so close, absorbing into you, the direction changes. And as the wind changes, this person starts to change their focus. Now it is on the third party, someone else far away, but for a limited time only, and then things change again. Are you feeling more anxious than excited about the future together? Are you constantly now walking on eggshells? These signs often indicate that staying might just do more harm than good. It's important for you to once and for all take a step back and trust your instincts, your inner voice, which is trying to protect you. Question yourself, why do you stay? Why do you ignore? What is the best for you and the greater good? I wanted to share another email from a client. You may notice some similarities. Perhaps you have gone through this as well. I met someone through a mutual friend, and they messaged me on social media. Our first date was a special night in Seattle, watching fireworks on a cruise. We went out regularly, until I asked about monogamy, and I instantly sensed hesitation. Shortly after, they said we should see other people. I haven't heard from them since, but I can't stop thinking about them. I still feel drawn, and I dream about them, and sense their presence everywhere. I am unsure whether to move on or to wait. As you can see, the person who reached out to me They are in a vulnerable state. There is a feeling of hopelessness. However, there is that hope. They know they've become an individual who feels devastated because of what has happened. Things were going great, but then all of a sudden, boom, what happened? Why did things change? You see, what's important to note is that when two people start off on a journey together, their beliefs may be different. Point A to point C, okay? Point A, they are the same, they're resonating. Point B, they actually start to notice that things are different. And by the time you get to point C, they are all off in a completely different direction, and so are you. These are things that people do not express, they do not tell you. Sometimes we don't share this information either. The problem is that lack of communication. Had someone been open and honest and let the other person know that, you know what, this is not what I'm looking for. Right now, I'm not ready for something like this. This is what should have been expressed. This is the only reason this person said, let's see other people. Because this individual is keeping their options open. And when somebody keeps their options open, it also means that you are not their number one choice. This is not something nasty, it's not something evil. This is just human nature. Men do it, women do it as well. Both genders do it. No problem. You can have two males, you can have two females, it happens. That doesn't matter. The point is you're dealing with the masculine and the feminine energy here. And there's this doubt on whether I should move on or not. Is this going to work out or is it not? Logically, from a third-party perspective, one would think, no, it's not going to work out because the person has shown you what they actually feel. They have expressed to you that you are not their number one. By having choices, that also means that you are not the first choice. However, there are cases that I've seen where the circumstances that a person might be in causes these issues, causes the delay, causes the disruption, the hindrance, the problems that occur in a connection because of where they come from, what their family is like, what their society is like, what their friends are saying. There are certain circumstances where individuals have to act a certain way because it is detrimental to their well-being, their lifestyle, their reputation. Sometimes they don't say things. But when you are, and when you do find yourself in this sort of a situation where, should I move on or should I wait? There's a reason, and that is the universe telling you, if it was meant to be, it is meant to be now. You have this person now. This person has clearly told you that they also want to see other individuals, which means that no, you are not the first choice. And then we have that aspect of you deserving better. You deserve better than this person. That is why they are not at the same level as you. That is why you split up after B and then C is completely different. Keep in mind, you deserve better. It isn't easy to question your own worth when someone you love is treating you poorly or taking you for granted. They don't value you. They're not afraid of losing you. This is a problem. One must accept the fact that love doesn't have to always be two ways. It can be, and it usually is, one way. Love doesn't have to end. We keep it inside. But sometimes it cannot be shared. It cannot be reciprocated for reasons unknown to you. Reasons that this person has not disclosed. And sometimes when people are so quiet, there is a reason. Not because they're hiding something, and not because they want to hurt you, but because whatever they would explain to you in terms of breaking up this connection, they know it would hurt you so badly. And therefore, the common individual ghosts you. People ghost each other because they do not want to see the other person suffer or want to appear as the individual who is breaking the other person's heart and seem as the bad person. They'd rather just fade over time and vanish. Remember, you deserve respect, kindness, and genuine support. Healthy love, real love that is committed, it doesn't leave you in a state of confusion or pain. Constant confusion and pain. There are people out there that when they hurt their partner, their spouse, their loved one, they hurt in return, and they apologize and they want to make it better because they do not want to lose the person. So someone that would hurt you should be feeling that. If they love you, they will feel your pain. They will feel the anguish and sorrow, and they will not want you to be in that state of mind. This is not someone who you want to just have a fling with. This is someone who you want a long-term connection with. Another example I would like to share from an email sent by a client. We began as friends. He is a cancelled priest. I support him. Something happened about 6 months in, and I began to have romantic feelings for him. I was honestly shocked that this would have been the most forbidden of relationships. But I confessed my feelings. We both have said, I love you, to each other. This is not a physical relationship. We both struggle. He has ghosted. It's difficult now. We want to be a part of each other's lives. I have never felt this strong a pull before. I know this is a struggle for him as well. We can't say goodbye. It's been 12 months now. In a situation like this, the person that reached out to me, she is vulnerable. She is in love, and it's difficult for her to move on. Why? Because this individual, her person of interest, also keeps coming back into her life. Now, even though they are coming back into her life, this cancelled priest, what happens? He enters her life, and then anything that she was doing to heal and move on, it all goes to waste. Because then the cycle, that vicious cycle, starts again. Why do I call it vicious? Because it's a cycle that's not growing. It's the same old repetitive behavior from this person. What is important to note here, and you need to think about this logically if you are in this sort of a scenario, the only reason that person is coming back into your life is because you are letting them come back into your life. The problem here is, why are you letting them come in when you know that nothing else is going to move forward? You know that this is, at some point, a hopeless cause. But the reason is hope. Hope is always in the back of one's mind that maybe, just maybe, something might work out. The truth is, a person who will want to make it work, they will make it happen. And if they feel that there's too many obstacles and hurdles, then they won't. In this scenario, this person, the individual, meaning the person of interest, was getting exactly what they wanted. Physically, emotionally, maybe even financially. He was getting everything. And so why would he say no? It was comfortable for him. The problem here is a lack of value. Taking this person for granted, my client who was helping this other individual. This is not right. This is something that people need to think of and take a step back and defend themselves, guard themselves, protect themselves from individuals like this who may be even considered vultures or vampires, metaphorically speaking. You deserve a relationship that lifts you up, not one that tears you down. Question yourself, why do you put up with this? Did it happen in your childhood? Were they hurt, so they hurt you in return? Oftentimes in my readings, I see how deeply the past affects relationships. The past could be related to childhood, the youth that one had, the memories, or even adulthood in the recent past. Anything that happened before the both of you met. This person has history. You may not know everything about them. They may feel traumatized, they may feel shy, they may just feel intimidated, or that feeling of not wanting to be vulnerable because it will make them vulnerable and they will not seem as the alpha, the one who is the leader, who is confident, who knows it all, the one who can provide. The alpha doesn't necessarily have to mean the male. It can also be the female. And even though they may want to protect you, there will be a hint of ego and pride, stubbornness, arrogance, and maybe even a little bit of jealousy or envy. These, of course, are human traits, but we need to be careful and we need to logically take a step back and think, what is it that my friends are saying? What's my family saying? What have people noticed? How does this person interact with the people that I meet outside? What is their nature when we're at home versus outside? What are they like when they are in bed versus after the deed? What's the true, authentic self? Have you changed yourself because of this person? Have you changed in order to adjust, to make them happy? 50-50 is good. 60-40 adjustment is still okay. But 70-30, in my opinion, has never been healthy. Because that way, one person has truly bent over backwards to accommodate and to change their personality to suit the needs of the other. That's not fair. Because at that point, you are not your genuine, authentic self. And that means something. At some point in time, you will have to ask yourself, are you ready to move forward? Are you ready to move on? And then ask yourself, when will you be ready? How long will it take? Some of you may wonder, why is it important to move on anyway? I don't want to move on. I want to keep this pain inside of me. I want to keep this love that I have for this person. And maybe, just maybe, down the road at some point in time, they will one day show up. This may be a dream, a wish that is not based on reality, that is not practical. Because there's too many things, too many factors that have caused problems, hindrances, obstacles. The circumstances that this person goes through, the hesitation that they have, the reasons why they haven't moved on in this connection the way that you would like them to. They have their own reasons. And not all the time do these reasons change. If their circumstances change, then yes, there is hope. But if their circumstances do not change, then most likely things will remain like this forever in this connection, an ongoing, endless cycle of pain, suffering, and uncertainty. One has to know when it's time to walk away, when too much time has been lost, valuable time from your life, where you could have been building memories instead of wasting that time away. It's important to cultivate powerful self-care habits. Nurture yourself. A card I often get when I'm doing readings is the Nurture card from Doreen Virtue's Archangel Oracle cards. And what's interesting is that we really don't take time out for ourselves. During the day, each day, it's important, for example, to take a few minutes for yourself, to appreciate yourself, to feel gratitude for what you still have in your life. Focus on the good instead of the bad. If you have gone through some experiences, why do you think you went through them? What could you do differently? What lessons have you learned from this? Will you repeat the same things in the future? No, we can't forgive. Sometimes it is very difficult to forgive, although it is the best thing you could possibly do, to have compassion for someone else and understand that, you know what? They just didn't know any better. But by understanding the mindset of the other individual, knowing what happened between the both of you because of their behavior, and maybe even, unbeknownst to you, certain things that you were doing, it's important to learn the lessons that one goes through. Because whether you do it with this person, whether you do it with the next, there's certain habits that you will have, certain things that someone else will do, and there's always that problem of getting from A, B to C. Communicating is important. It's important not to repeat these mistakes, to consider them as experiences, and change is needed to get a different result. If you want a different result, the method and approach needs to change. Many times, a person will find someone in their life that resembles the one before, the one who got away. Now, person number one was someone very special, but then it didn't work out. Then we chose person number two. Person number two seems to be very interesting, but their physical features, their traits, their habits are very similar to person number one. Now, the same type of arguments we have with person number two, the characteristics, there's too many similarities. And so we move on over time to person number three. But person number three is also very similar to person number one and two. Why is this? Why does a person like yourself, or cross-watcher if you're watching here or listening, why is it that we fall for the same kind of individual over and over again? This stems from childhood, this stems from youth, or even sometimes trauma. But the key is to find literally the complete opposite, because that way you are guaranteed that the result will be different. If you have the same method of approach over and over again, then the results will always be the same. However, if you try something a little different, then the result will be different. Here, in this case, there are a lot of people I know who date other individuals, but they try to find the same type of characteristics. And why would anybody want that? Sure, it didn't work out the first time. Second time it didn't work out. Do you really think it might work out the third? Of course, like I said, there's always hope. Now, I know because I do this in ancient Vedic texts, as well as ancient Chinese face reading and astrology in the Vedas. It is interesting because there are people that are born, they have certain features, and you can tell their personality based on their physical features. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it works. It happens. I don't know how it's done, but every single time when I have deciphered one's face and done ancient Chinese face reading, I am able to tell exactly what the personality is all about, just based on their features. So, this is a celestial formula. It's a formula. And this is something that we need to avoid. If we want to have a different kind of future, something better, something unique, something that is not the same, then we ourselves need to do something different. We cannot choose the same kind of love, the same kind of person, characteristics, it's not going to work. And this is why that change is needed. In order to be a bit more practical and a little logical, and to not be in denial in any sort of way. Take a step back and recognize the red flags and reclaim your worth. You have value. And when you have value, you are worth something. And when you're worth something, your person of interest will fear losing you. Sometimes when this happens, they do start to chase, because now they realize what they have lost, what they could lose, and what they may never find in anyone else. This kind of stuff does happen. People start to ghost, they ignore, and months go by, years go by, and all of a sudden one day the person that you were hoping for to come back into your life, they do show up. But it was after a lot of suffering and sorrow. Keep in mind, something happened in their life where their circumstances changed. That is the only reason why they came back. Once you step away from this energy and it stops draining you, your image is going to start to radiate. You will energetically radiate this positive light. Your aura will be noticeable. The vibration will be higher. No longer will you be in a low vibration because of this person and the way this person made you feel. Some of you do know, and hopefully for those of you that are listening, you will learn that I do have packages to help you get rid of negative energies from your life. I do have the ability of remotely viewing where you live. That is basically the negative energies that are living inside of your home, around your aura, and inside of your body, which is your chakra centers. I have some packages that I have on my website. Feel free to place an order. One of them is called the Chakra Checkup Package. I'll put the link here below as well. In case you feel that there's a lot of negative energy. This includes jinns, demons, evil spirits brought on by anger, frustration, black magic. Somebody may have done some witchcraft on you. Maybe someone here was jealous, worry, suffering, sorrow, the feeling of hopelessness. All of these sort of emotions, they do attract negative energies, and over time, these things pile up. I also have a very simple package called a Holy Light Package, which does not include a reading. It is a self-help guide, but it is very powerful and it also helps. Some of you who have known me for a while are aware that I have an angel guide. Her name is Angel Fakiel. You can read a little bit about her on my homepage on my website. She is a gift to me by who we call God. And she also helps confirm when I see these negative energies. So the key here is not to stay negative in any sort of way. If you are around people who are jealous, people who are negative, it is very important for you to release yourself from that sort of energy and to be in a more positive environment. Because even if you are trying to manifest or say positive affirmations, there's no use if you have negative people around you. It will not work because their vibration will cancel out yours. Theirs will be a bit more stronger because they are that negative. It is important to stay positive in order to attract positive energy. If you are negative, you will attract negative energy. Now, you're not going to do this knowingly. It just happens. A lot of people don't know this, but many of you do know who have already gotten the package. Once you get rid of these things, they stop bothering you. And you have this information for the rest of your life. If you ever feel like you need to use it again, you have it. So please do have a look at that as well. For some of you that may feel that there is some blockage because of trauma even, and this is of course a metaphysical science, right? This is a pseudoscience. This is what I do, and my day job, you guys know, is quite different. I work for the justice system, and I'm very passionate about that. But this is also my calling, to help people with the talents that I have. I guess this is called a God-given gift. And I never knew it. I never knew many of these things. And in the past few years, a lot has changed. And so now I'm able to help a lot of people, and I see everybody's perspective. I see the perspective of what you go through, what your person goes through, and I'm able to tell you what they're feeling. Based on that, I have created the majority of these videos on this channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to this audio recording. I hope it was helpful. Letting go is never simple, but sometimes it's the most loving thing you can do for yourself. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more content on self-growth and relationships. Take care of yourself. You deserve it. You deserve a life of happiness, contentment, without hesitation and without uncertainty. You have to make that change, and you are the creator of your own reality and destiny, which leads to an outcome. This outcome is the result of the decisions that you have made in the past, and even the ones that you are going to be making in the future. Take time to heal and move on in a healthy way. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys again. Take care. Stay safe. Bye now.